Tropical storm Lorena made landfall on Mexico's west coast, triggering catastrophic disasters in two states, Baja California Sur and Sonora. In less than a day, the normally dry, semi-desert region was transformed into a landscape of water, mud, and destruction. Lorena was more than just a tropical storm. It symbolized systemic vulnerability and the unstoppable power of nature. Hurricane Lorena formed off the coast of Michoacán with a 90% potential for formation within 7 days, according to the National Meteorological Agency. Moving west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, Lorena brought heavy rain, thunderstorms, and waves reaching 3 meters along the Pacific coast. Around 3 a.m. local time, the storm made landfall near the city of La Paz, Baja California Sur. Winds of up to 75 to 95 kilometers per hour swept the coast, knocking down power lines and disrupting communications. The torrential rains, which lasted for more than 12 hours, caused small rivers to overflow and turned highways into dangerous rapids. After crossing the Baja California Sur coast, Lorena weakened into a low-pressure system, but still brought extreme rainfall to the Sonora region. The cities of Hermosillo and Guaymas experienced flash floods that inundated homes and public facilities, with water levels reaching 5 feet, 1.5 meters, in some districts. In La Paz, approximately 40% of homes in coastal districts suffered structural damage. Manuel Márquez de León International Airport was temporarily closed due to flooding of the runway. In Cabo San Lucas, the tourism sector was completely paralyzed. Hotels, usually crowded with tourists, were turned into emergency evacuation centers. More than 12,000 residents were evacuated to temporary shelters. The Mexican army was deployed to assist with the distribution of food, clean water, and medicine. The main Transpeninsular Highway was cut off in 3 places by landslides. In Hermosillo, the city's drainage system completely failed. Schools were closed, and hospitals were operating on emergency generators. Guaymas, a key port city, suffered damage to docks and logistics facilities. Fishing boats were destroyed, and economic activity came to a standstill. By the evening of September 2nd, 17 people had died and more than 150 were injured in both states. Most of the victims were trapped in vehicles as flash floods engulfed highways. Experts noted that sea surface temperatures in the eastern Pacific had risen by more than 1 degree Celsius compared to the average for the previous decade. This increase in temperatures strengthened tropical storms and extended their impact northward, including Baja California, which had previously rarely been directly affected. The devastation caused by Lorena exposed the weaknesses of the region's infrastructure. Drainage systems designed for semi-arid climates were unable to efficiently drain water during storm surges. Rapid coastal urbanization was not accompanied by disaster mitigation planning. Many settlements were built in lowlands and near rivers, increasing the risk of flooding. Amid the devastation, however, stories of resilience and solidarity emerged. In La Paz, a group of young people formed a spontaneous volunteer team that helped evacuate elderly and children. In Hermosillo, a church community opened its doors as a shelter, providing food and beds for more than 300 people. The Mexican president declared a national state of emergency for Baja California Sur and Sonora. 500 million pesos was allocated for emergency relief and reconstruction. The governments of the United States and Canada offered logistical and medical assistance. The International Red Cross sent medical teams to Guaymas and La Paz. The Mexican Ministry of Public Works began repairing damaged roads and bridges, with the goal of reopening major transportation routes within 10 days. Amid the recovery efforts, local communities demonstrated remarkable resilience. They not only rebuilt homes and public facilities, but also strengthened social and community networks to withstand future disasters. Tropical Storm Lorena was not just a meteorological event. It also reflected the systemic challenges Mexico faces in responding to natural disasters. From fragile infrastructure to the social inequalities that exacerbate the impact, Lorena taught us that resilience is not just a physical matter, but also a matter of solidarity, planning, and collective reflection. Tropical Storm Lorena was more than just a meteorological phenomenon that crossed Mexico's west coast. It was a multidimensional event that revealed layers of vulnerability, resilience, and the urgent need for systemic transformation. In less than 24 hours, two states traditionally known for their semi-arid climates, Baja California Sur and Sonora, transformed into humanitarian crisis zones, with flash flooding, infrastructure damage, and inevitable loss of life. Meteorologically, Lorena demonstrated how climate change has intensified tropical storms and expanded their impact northward. Rising sea surface temperatures in the eastern Pacific fueled stronger and more destructive storm systems. The extreme rainfall Lorena brought exceeded the drainage capacity of cities like La Paz and Hermosillo, demonstrating that existing infrastructure designs are no longer relevant to today's climate realities. Socially, Lorena's impacts revealed stark inequalities. Poor communities living in low-lying areas and flood-prone areas were the most affected. Mass evacuations, disruptions to health services, and damage to educational facilities added to the hardships faced by communities. Yet, amid the devastation, inspiring stories of solidarity emerged, from young volunteers rescuing the elderly to faith communities opening their doors as shelters. The government's response, while swift in declaring a state of emergency and allocating relief funds, still faces significant challenges in long-term recovery. International assistance from neighboring countries demonstrates the importance of cross-border cooperation in addressing increasingly complex disasters. However, physical recovery alone is not enough. What is needed is systemic recovery, climate-adaptive urban planning, widespread disaster education, and resilience-oriented development policies. Lorena also serves as a reminder that disasters are not just about the weather, but about how communities and systems respond to them. Resilience is not just about building higher walls or wider drainage systems, but about building more inclusive, informed, and prepared societies for uncertainty. In this context, Hurricane Lorena is a mirror that reveals our weaknesses, but also our potential for change. Hurricane Lorena left a deep mark, slowly receding waters, destroyed homes, and memories of a night of wind and rain. But it also left behind a priceless lesson, that in the face of nature, we need not only technology and funding, but also empathy, solidarity, and courage to build a more resilient future.